tolerators, this is to all the men I've tolerated before with Natalie Katona.
And Dina Alkatib.
On this podcast, Dina and I explore some of the impactful relationships we've had with men. We're going to give them some gratitude for the lessons that we had to learn along the way and leave them with some positive manifestations for the future. Today, we're going to do kind of a fun topic, and we're going to talk about the worst dates we've been on. Any opening remarks about your worst dates, Dina?
I haven't actually been on, a lot of dates because I feel like I'm a serial monogamist, but I think they could have been worse. I've heard worse horror stories than the ones I have, but yeah.
This topic was brought up by a group of friends that I was at trivia with, so shout out to them, because basically one of our friends basically said, well, if you tell the story of this date, I'll definitely tune in. And I was like, okay, well, thank you for confirming that you're not already turning in. That's fine. That's okay. Thank you for your love and support. But anyways, this one's a fun one. It is one that I have, trolled out for cheap entertainment of others, and it got performed at one of the local improv theaters here because someone forced me to tell the story to an audience full of strangers.
Oh, that's fun.
But I do think, looking back on it, there were a couple of things that I could have either been more aware of or more empathetic towards. So I'm just going to dive in.
All right, let's go.
So as we know, I am a victim of dating apps. I am a victim of having to swipe on dating apps and date strangers from dating apps. And while I don't really appreciate dating apps, it is honestly the only easy way to get dates now. So this was a guy who I matched with because his pet iguana was also named Natalie. So
what a strange name for an iguana, too.
Right. And honestly, what an indicator of where my emotional well-being was, where I was like, well, that's a good enough reason to match.
Yeah, he has an iguana.
He has an iguana. It shares my name. And honestly, what a great opener. Because I think I used the cheesy line of well, we already know you like Natalie's. So
yeah, that's true. Oh, that's kind of cute.
I also remember that his profile mentioned that he was a film studies major, or he was in animation, or a combination of the two or whatever. And I want to be famous one day, so I was like, we'll have things to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. Good start.
Yeah. And he was nice when we were messaging back and forth. There was definitely a point right before the date where something tipped me off in the way that he messaged, that it was very stoically is not the right word, but almost blandly over accommodating or blandly answering the questions, or just one note with how hyped he was about everything that I said. Something tipped me off to where I was
was it fake?
Almost that it was fake. Something concerned me in my gut that I was I don't know how this date is going to play out. But yeah. I agreed to meet for coffee with him because I was also in this place where it was you get into this habit of just having pen pals on the dating apps. And I was well, you'll never know unless you know.
That's true. Our rule is 3 times. You gotta meet him 3 times before it's
That's right. Before you're a human. Before you're a human to me. This might be the date that made me go I don't give a fuck about any of these internet people until I actually have a connection with you.
Well, which is so hard because it's hard to care during the texting phase of things when you're just you're not even real, or I don't even know if I like you until I meet you, so it's hard to even care.
It is. It really is. So I show up to a Starbucks, and I had to go to like a Starbucks that was like 25 minutes away from my house.
Hate that.
I know, which I almost like, I don't want to be that chick, but I almost want to be like, hey, men who are asking women to meet them places, like, don't make them do the bulk of the distance. Like, look into that and be more accommodating.
Yeah. Though I feel like 30 minutes isn't
That's not,
awful.
it's not awful. It's not great. And then, so I'm at Starbucks and I'm there early or whatever. And like, the Starbucks isn't like set up in a way that is like date friendly. It's just like a bunch of cafeteria tables.
Oh,
And I'm just
weird.
like waiting. Not like cafeteria tables with like benches, but like, you know how like some Starbucks are like cozy and some Starbucks are set up like a Chipotle?
Yes.
This was more on the Chipotle side of Starbucks.
Okay.
And I'm just like waiting. And then like I recognize him from his picture or whatever. And like he just like stands in the middle of the entryway or whatever. And I was like, are you gonna come over? Like now all of my like heebie jeebies are up because I'm like, why are you like instantly weird?
Oh, no.
So I walk over and I'm like, hi, I'm Natalie. Are you so and so? And he just kind of like nods. I'm
Are you
like,
serious? He just
"Mhm,
nods?
yeah."
That's weird. Weird vibes.
And I'm like, okay. So I was like, so like I stand there awkwardly for a little bit longer, waiting to be addressed by my date. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get in line,
For a drink?
right, for my coffee. So I get in line. I have more banter with like the Starbucks barista. And he's just like staring at me and like doing a combination of like mouth breathing and giggling.
That is. What? That's so
Right.
weird.
Yeah. So I order and I pay for my drink. I don't even know if he's like said hello yet. And then like I go, okay, well, there's like a table over here. I sit down. I can't remember if cause like again, he's just like mouth breathing and giggling at me.
Psycho.
Uh-huh. So I
Psycho
sit
vibes.
down. I can't remember if he asked me about my day, but it was the first day that I had run the theater for the children's series. Like it was my first show.
Mm-hmm.
So I started talking about that. And Dina, like, the only thing he could say in response to like anything I had to say, like, oh yeah, I got to do my first curtain speech today. And I'd get like oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then I would be like, oh yeah, my like boss, like he gave me some tips, but he said that like I did a really good job for my first run or whatever. And he was like, badass. And that was the extent of our conversation. I would say something like, yeah, my favorite color is purple. Oh yeah.
What the hell? That's so strange.
Yeah, I like come from a long line of serial killers. Badass. Like over and
What in
over and
the
over
world?
again.
What do you think was going on? Do you just think he's a weirdo
So
or what?
at some point, like my brain is like, okay, what's happening here?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
he high?
Right.
Because I'm thinking of it from my own point of view and like how inconvenienced I am to be on a bad date. I immediately went, this motherfucker showed up too high to function on a date.
Yeah. Ugh.
So then, like, I start asking him questions about himself or whatever. He tells me some weird story about his, like, brother's girlfriend trapping him with a pregnancy or something. I think he meant it to come off like a joke, like, hope she didn't trap him, But it didn't come off like a
What is
joke.
with these inappropriate jokes? Like, what is that?
Right. It came off like your brother was like halfway responsible for knocking a person up, and your immediate thought was like, women be trapping. Women be trapping.
What is wrong with people? Like, this is not normal You could talk about the weather, and it would be
Right.
more normal than this.
Finally, I'm chugging my coffee, and it's
Yeah,
like
let's
winter
get it over
time,
with.
so it's like hot coffee. I am like
Yeah.
trying to make eye contact with another man who's just trying to study, like, hey, friend,
Help.
help me. Help me.
Interrupt this conversation.
Interrupt this conversation, kind of like evaluate whether or not I'm safe.
Right.
Because you also don't know, because strangers be strangers.
Stranger danger, for sure.
So already he's like odd. He's just like staring at me, saying, oh yeah, I'm badass the entire time. Women be trapping, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like chugging my coffee.
Yeah.
And like, I am so proud of myself because I only allowed this date to last for 30 minutes. And I don't know if this happens to you, but like when I go on these terrible internet dates and I can tell within the first like 15 minutes that I'm not going to like you, I will still sit there until the guy's like, well, I gotta get going because like I've already done my hair and my makeup and driven to the Starbucks and like I am already out.
And you don't want to be like rude or whatever if they're
Right.
not like
Because rude
if they're
women get
realistically
murdered.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, because like when we're rude, it puts us in an unsafe situation.
That's true.
But my whole body is just like, you have got to get out of here. What is going on with this guy?
Yeah.
So I like chug my coffee and I'm like, okay, well, I have to wake up really early because I have another day of shows tomorrow. So I've got to go. It is time for me to go. And I'm like packing up my purse, like trying to put it on, trying to throw my coffee away. And my only goal, like something in my brain was like, don't let this guy see your car.
Ooh,
because now he's weird enough to the point where I'm like, okay, you know who else is usually socially awkward? Men who kill. Like, what if this is all his ammo? Trick you into going to Starbucks. Watches you drive off, follows you home. Like, at this point, it's like, I've learned nothing about this guy that I just agreed to go to Starbucks with and now knows, like, my name and what I look like and could watch me walk to my car, that I'm like, I've got to go. I am so tired of speaking to strangers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rush out of Starbucks, and I am explaining to him, oh, no, you don't have to walk me into my car. Like, it's cool. Great. Like, see you, whatever. This woman, who was also in a moment of struggle, like, you could tell that, like, she may or may not have been, like, digging through the, like, Starbucks garbage or something, trying to, like, help herself out with a free meal or something. She pops out. Dina, she pops out of the bushes out of nowhere.
Oh, no.
And she's like, baby girl. And I'm like, oh, God. Here it is.
No, we can't do this right now.
I was like, I can't be a sister in the cause right now. I'm trying to escape. She's like, honey, you let that young man walk you to your car. And I was like, no, it's really fine. And she's like, let him walk you to your car because you never know who's in these parking lots. I was like, yeah, ma'am.
You're in this parking lot, ma'am. You are right now.
I'm like, no, it's really fine. And she's like, honey, let me tell you about something I saw just the other day. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, I guess we're fully engaged into this moment. The Starbucks was by a Meijer grocery store.
Okay.
So she like gestures wildly to the Meijer. She goes, just the other day, I was in the Meijer parking lot. I walked by a man in this truck, and honey.
Oh no.
He was in his truck doing a whole lot of several different things to himself to a whole lot of pornography on his telephone. Just in there in the parking lot. You never know what weirdos are in this parking lot.
Ew. Ew. I hate it here.
Right. So she's like, so you let him walk to your car because what if there's like a rogue masturbator?
Yeah, what if he's the rogue masturbator?
Right, that's what I should have
thought.
That
guy's the rogue masturbator.
I should have been like, was it him?
Right, are you sure? Was it this guy?
Was it him?
That's
And I just
upsetting.
looked at her and I was like, you know what, sister? You right. You never know what's going to happen in life with these men. Thank you for your service. Thank you for letting me know. You have a safe rest of your night.
The
And
irony of this situation. The irony is so rich.
I just book it to my car.
Yeah, of course.
And he tries to be like, I don't know what that. I was like, yep, bye. And I just run to my car.
Yeah.
I did. I ran to my car, and I remember calling someone to be like, hey, just talk to me on my way home.
Yeah.
So I can feel like I'm not being followed. Today was a nightmare. What the hell? What is wrong with the caliber of men that they allow on these apps?
For real.
Why? I go, and also a lady who was struggling herself was just trying to help me out, and I was like, ma'am, I have to go.
Right.
This man is one step of knowing one number off of my address to wearing me a prom suit. I have got to go. I fully understand, ma'am, that men are dangerous and they are everywhere. And whenever he told this story, one of my friends was like, well, how long was she standing outside of that guy watching that guy's truck, watching him watch pornography to know that he was watching multiple types of pornography?
She knows. She was sitting there taking notes.
Right.
On exactly what this man was doing. Each type of porn video, how many porn videos he watched, for how long.
Could you imagine letting your Comcast bill slip or something so your Wi-Fi's turned off and you're like, man, but I really do just have to rub one out. And I only want to rub one out to Valhalla Blondie Sisters Volume 32. So I'm going to drive to the Meijer, use their free Wi-Fi to download my favorite porn, to then sit in the parking lot and masturbate.
And here's the thing. It's almost worse that he was watching porn instead of, jerking off to, random people. Because, why are you watching porn in your car? Go do it in your home. What is the... Does anybody have any insight as to why someone would do this in their car?
Maybe their car is their home. Everybody's struggling. Capitalism is terrible. I know capitalism has had me depressed for months.
God. That's just so weird.
I saw a TikTok the other day. It was I have one more year of capitalism left in me. And I was like, I've got 1 month, okay? I can't, not one more day.
Right.
So, everybody be struggling. But if you are struggling, know that I'm here for you. But, everyone else who is struggling is just going to be talking about you jacking off at the Meijer parking lot.
Jesus.
Do you still think you get arrested for that? I'm not, jacking off to the random passersby, but I am watching pornography at Meijer. Is that still a public indecency?
I think I think it is, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, you would get arrested for that.
Okay. I was also really proud of myself, not only that I cut the date short, because usually I linger, and I just allow myself to bear through it.
Right.
But, when he texted me later, and he was like, thanks so much for having coffee with me, can't wait to do it again, I immediately went, hey, it was really nice that you made the drive out to meet me, and all of that, but I'm not feeling it. So thank you for your time, but no thank you. And usually, I can't handle that. I usually just erase them and block them. But all of a sudden, I had hit the wall. And this guy was a accumulation of bad dates. I had also gone out with a guy who also seemed really artistic and into movies and photography and whatever, and then 45 minutes into the date dropped that he was a homophobe. But he was one of those but he was one of those homophobes that doesn't know that they're homophobic, and it's thinking that the bare minimum, I still talk to my gay friend, makes you not homophobic. That's not what that means.
Yeah.
So I had to listen to several stories of his bravery trying to be less homophobic than he is. And
what
like,
a saint.
what a
That's
saint.
sarcasm, if you
And then,
couldn't
like,
hear that.
another coffee date where the guy looked nothing like his pictures, and he was like hunched weird. And like a good looking guy had just hit on me at the wine-ins, but he wasn't my date, and I was too like polite to just go for that guy. Destiny was trying to throw me a bone, and I was like, I'm here to meet someone else.
Oh, damn.
And then that guy showed up, and I was like, God damn it.
This is so sad.
God damn it.
I'm so sorry.
And then, like, sat on that date for 2 hours long, too, because I was like, well, maybe the good-looking guy will come back.
At least you'll have something to look at.
Yeah. And this was after, and like, these are a series of dates that happened after I thought I had a really good connection and chemistry and the sex was good with someone, and then he turned out to be a monster. So I was like, is this just my buffet now? Am I just going to get E. coli every time I try? Because I'm either bored, or I'm weirded out, or they lie to you, or they're homophobic, or anything, and I'm just, or like, it's so frustrating. So finally, like, all of that had come to a head, and I was like, not one more, not ever. So when he texted me, like, I can't wait to see you again, I was like, nope, from now on, I'm letting these men know. Absolutely not. You did not act in a way that garnishes a second date. Absolutely not. The homophobe is still my Facebook and my Instagram friend. Like, for whatever reason, I allowed him to be my social media friend.
Okay, you need to delete him.
I know.
That's bad. He
bad.
Does not deserve to be your friend in any way, virtually or not.
Right. And I guess the moral of my story is, like, I've had one good online date out of any of them. One. Well, I guess more than one. I've had 2 men out of years of online dating who I have wanted to see again out of all of it. And, like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah. That's not a good track record for online dating.
No. I need men. I need everyone to step it up. If you are going to meet a stranger at a Starbucks and you know that you are not a person who can day to day just talk to strangers, because it's not everyone's forte.
You're right.
Then come with a notebook. I don't know. Do homework.
Practice, honestly.
Practice. Ask your friends.
You can totally and that's the thing, is like, it's hard to excuse it because, you know, you can practice and you can Google and you can, like, basically fake your way through it. Right. Even. So, it's hard for me to sympathize with people that don't even, like, try a little bit. Like, if you're awkward, like, if you're a little bit awkward or whatever at first, like, I understand that. Like, you have to warm up, you have to like, get in the groove, like, understand. And even still, you can have an okay conversation with somebody but still not feel it. Like, right. So, I just don't think there's
but you gotta
an excuse for it.
But you've got to show up with more to the table than, oh yeah, and badass. That's how he would say it too. Like, he had, like, no motion in his lips. Like, badass.
Oh, yeah. That's so strange.
Oh yeah. We have a friend who can do the impersonation, like, perfectly. And the reason I remembered the story and it all came rushing back my frontal lobe is because we were at trivia a couple weeks ago and I said something and he immediately went, badass. I was like, oh, fuck you. Because now I'm going to have nightmares about that dream again. And looking back on it, what I would hate to have been happening is that, like, because, you know, when I get pumped up like that and I'm just irritated that I am on, like, another bad date, I can only think of myself. So looking back on it, I would hate for it to have been like that I ended up on a date with someone whose capabilities of holding a conversation were like hindered for reasons besides I believe that he got too high to show up on the date. Like maybe there was like a doctor reason that he just couldn't do it. And like then
But he should say that, I feel like.
Right.
Like you should communicate if you're like, hey, just so you know, I have like very bad like medical, I don't know, whatever it is.
Verbal processing issues, anything.
Something. So that you're not just sitting there wondering what in the world is the guy's problem,
right.
You know?
Because I've also had to have just been like super honest lately about like my processing delays or like my flaws or anxiety or depression and like how my trauma manifests it into inappropriate behavior and like own my shit. And I feel like that, like again, like you don't have to sit on a first date with me to be like, hey, like once a week I'm going to be super depressed and I'll probably call you like a dirty bitch who should hate me. Like that's not appropriate first date behavior either.
Yeah, no.
But like something like, hey, just so you know, I don't have the best verbal processing skills. So I probably won't, like, it'll take me a moment to, like, comprehend what you're saying and, like, volley back. Oh, okay. Because I'm also a fast talker, and I fill in silence gaps when I'm nervous. So if I don't know that you need the silence gaps to say something more than, like, badass and oh, yeah, and actually contribute to the conversation, then I'm not going to let you contribute because that's my flaw.
Yeah, I think it's bad communication for sure.
Right. But I would hate for like me to, because it is like a running joke with certain friends of mine, like this terrible, awful, awkward date that I went on that then like an angel from the parking lot tried to save me from future men. Like, my guardian angel from the Starbucks dumpster just trying to...
Yeah, but the irony is that you were with one of them.
Right. I was like, ma'am, I'm already unsafe.
Right.
I've already put myself in an unsafe situation.
It's not funny, but it's also like just so ironic. It's almost too good to be true.
How did we get here with online dating where women are just willingly going to meet weirdos at public places, not thinking like, but eventually I'll get in my car and drive to my home, and what if he follows me there? I'm never paying attention.
Honestly, I kind of think that sometimes it's almost better if somebody drops you off at your date and then like comes back, like goes and does whatever and then comes back, so that it's not your car. And, you know, I don't know how you get around that, really, other than, like, Uber or something, but they can still follow. I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell us some
the
good
Uber
techniques
driver could be shady. Like,
Dina, there's not a good way.
Dina and I are in the habit of just being like, Jesse, here's the address of the Starbucks that I'll be at. This is when I'll be there. This is when I am assuming that I am getting home. Yeah. If you do not hear from me, please alert My Favorite Murder so they can solve the case.
Yeah, we tend to, or at least what I've done is make sure to add them on social media so your friends can see their profile.
Yeah.
Send them a picture of the person. Send them the address. And I have my location on Snap only visible to, like, my closest friends so they can know, like, where I'm at or where my phone's at all times.
Right. Yeah. Because, because now whenever I have a bad day, I have to go, I put my safety in jeopardy for this. I mean, does anyone else feel that way when you're going on these bad, awful internet dates? Like, not only was this a waste of my hour and my makeup and my outfit, but I've also put my safety in jeopardy for this.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't like that.
Yeah. Like, my one big takeaway is, like, maybe I could have, like, taken myself out of my own experience and been like, what is actually happening across the table here?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could have been like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, or I don't know, but if you feel uncomfortable, I don't think you have to reason yourself through it. Or even if you're uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable, and you just leave. I
Right.
think
Because, like,
so.
me having to babysit you through our first
Yeah.
date is already a very big telling sign.
Yeah, that's not good. If they're not willingly giving you that information, like
Right.
I understand, I could see myself going into a date like maybe something awful just happened, but I felt obligated to go, and I would just be like, "Hey, just so you know, something really awful just happened, or I'm having a bad day, or I'm not feeling good, whatever it is." You communicate, and I feel like that makes the situation better. But if they're not offering that information, and you're uncomfortable, then just get out of there
Then
for
just get
sure.
out. Like,
Yeah.
and at that point, like, if minute 15, the vibes haven't gotten better yet, then you need to be walking out the door at minute 31. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done giving a
Yeah.
lot of time and energy over to these types of dates.
You don't owe men anything. You don't owe anybody anything. If you're uncomfortable, you don't have to be nice. You need to take care of yourself first. Don't give energy to weird people and weird men. Like, that's it.
That's it. If the vibes are off, then I gotta go.
Get out, yeah.
All right, Dina, what about your bad first date or a bad
Okay,
date?
so I have like a few things because I feel like some of mine are kind of like, I don't know if they count. So this first one, I don't know if it counts, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So if you have listened to previous episodes, I'm bringing back Prego Boy, of
Ugh.
course. Because, well, let me say that if you don't know who Prego Boy is, go back to the Shame episode, and you can get some more insight on him. But Prego Boy asked me out to pizza, and before that we had just been like casual, so like we hadn't like gone on a date or anything, and so this was our first date, and I was kind of excited for it, to be honest, because he like took the initiative to ask me out, and I didn't have to plan anything, and I was like super excited about that because I always seem to be doing that. So he asked me a week before the day, and the week goes by, I haven't heard anything from him. Like, literally, I think he's texted me a few times just like, hey, how's it going, kind of a thing, but nothing about the date. And so this goes on until the day of, and I still don't know key information about where are we going? What time are we meeting? Am I going to be driving myself? Are you going to be picking me? Like, what's happening? I literally have no clue. So the day of the date, I work a full day because I think it's like a Friday or something. At around 5 or 5:30, which is literally, a few hours before dinner is supposed to happen for most people.
What's wrong with Oliver? Oliver is also very frustrated that we continue to go out with men who aren't worthy of our time because it's less time for Oliver.
Okay.
We just got to see Dina's dominatrix skills at work as she dominated her dog and his bad attitude.
The worst. So I was super frustrated because the whole day went by, and he hadn't said anything about the date or anything. So I made other plans. I was like, I'm over it. I made other plans, and I sent him a text and let him know that, which he responded and said that he had not been feeling good that day, that he was feeling sick, and that he was going to text me eventually.
Okay, well, here's my question.
Yeah.
He wasn't feeling good that day. What about the 6 days beforehand where you also didn't make any effort to plan anything?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he had so much time. It wasn't like it was the day before the day he asked me out. Like, he had a whole damn week, basically, to figure out all this. And then if you were sick the day of, then just text me and be like, hey, I don't feel good. Can we reschedule our date? And of course, I would have been like, yeah, sure, cool. But like nothing. Zero communication at all. And I'm not about to like plan the whole damn thing, basically.
Especially when you were the person who was like making sure that you were seeing one another. There's nothing that irritates me more than someone going, I want to see you on Saturday. And me being like, cool, of course you do. I'm awesome. And then that person being like, how would you like me to see you on Saturday? No.
Like if you're gonna take the time to ask me out and don't put in the effort to actually plan the damn thing, you're wasting my time. Because if you're not willing at this stage to put in any level of effort, then down the line it's just gonna get worse, like, honestly. And it's just exemplary of like the way you operate, and that's not what I'm looking for. And I guarantee you that most women are not looking for that either. So we didn't even make it to the damn date. That's how bad the date was. We didn't even make it there. Like, I literally was just over it at that point.
And let's revisit the fact that this was the guy that you had to like reflect upon during our shame episode. And you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing a lot of recollection from my own shamer to be like, well, we've already slept together, so I guess I'll take her out to pizza. And then for like 6 days, he's just like, but I don't even like really like her, but like I guess we've slept together, but like I guess I'll take her out to pizza, but I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Why did you ask me out? Why the hell did you ask me out?
Please feel free to not like spending time with me.
Right, like, move on.
Feel free to admit to yourself that you're an asshole who got their dick wet, but didn't actually like it.
He's so weird. It was so weird because he kept coming back. I was like, why do you keep coming back? For real. All right. So my next one.
Guilt and shame.
Exactly. So my next one, I like to call them the double date boys. I don't have names for them, but I think I cannot remember if it was early college or late high school, but it was around that time, right? But I was talking to 2 dudes, and both of them wanted to go on a date. I wanted to see Batman. Really, didn't really care about the date part. I really just wanted to go see Batman. So, but at that point in my life, I was still a really nervous person. I was like, dude, will you just go with me? Like, and I'll invite both the dudes to the same date without them knowing that I'm on a date with both of them. Classic me moment. But, so they both showed up. Me and my friend showed up. They just thought that the other one was like a friend that I knew. Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna knock 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's see if these guys got anything. So, we watched Batman. By the end of the day, one dude was like super awkward. Like, he was very awkward, and he left. The other dude I talked to, and I wasn't really like vibing with him. Like, he just seemed like, he wasn't my type, honestly. And so at one point, I talked to him alone, and I let him, because I always tell the guys if I'm like not interested, like if I'm just not vibing with it or whatever. I'm not the kind, I'd never like ghost people. I just like tell them it's not working for me and then move on. Well, I told him that, and he instantly went into the pity mode. Into, of course you don't, like, all women say that to me, it'll never work out for me, kind of a thing. Like, he just was basically bashing himself and bashing women in front of me, like literally in front of me, and it was awkward as hell. So he went into this pity mode of like, of course you're not interested in me. All women say that to me. It's never gonna like work out for me. All this happening in front of me in a parking lot, literally. Like, so awkward. I don't know why. Like, when men do that, what do they think is gonna happen exactly? Am I gonna like immediately sympathize and be like, oh, never mind, I like you, let me throw you a bone? Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna make me like you if you end up having a pity party. Like, what is that? It's so awkward. Like, what the hell? And it's like, it's almost as bad as the guys who get aggressive. Like, it makes it uncomfortable for the woman, like, for sure.
Right. Because it's a different type of aggression. It's not yelling, but it's still like, you should rethink this, and I'm gonna, like, make you rethink the fact that you don't like me, whether it's through fear or guilt and shame.
Oh, I hate it. I literally hate it. Okay.
Can we circle back to this plot, though, that you had where, like, two guys, like, you couldn't have just gone to two movies? Like, what?
Oh, hell no. I was like, whatever. I'm probably not gonna like... I didn't have high hopes for either of them, to be honest with you. So I was just like, I don't want to go on 2 days. Let me just get them done with one.
Do you think the other guy caught on, and that's why he left? Why did
they literally had no idea. Like, I don't remember the whole interaction super, like, great. We talked for a little bit after the movie, and then he just ended up leaving. It wasn't. I don't know. I don't remember what happened after that, honestly. Goldfish memory moment.
Dina, on someone else's podcast, you're their bad date because they're like, yeah. Like,
oh, for sure. That was a horrible date and was not very nice at all or smart.
Like, on someone else's podcast, they were like, yeah, I went out with this girl. I thought we had been talking and vibing for a little bit. I show up, there's her friend, there's some other dude. I think she was trying to set both of us at the same time.
I told them up front, is it okay if I bring a few friends? Like, I told them. And if they would have been no, then I would have been like, okay, no worries.
But then, did you also tell them, also, like, one of those friends is also a competitor for my affections. So it's this weird Hunger Games situation I'm saying.
No, but I fucking love that I did that. Like, such a good story. But, like, I don't think I was, that it was going to work out with either of them. I think I kind of knew that.
So why not play a game?
Let's play a game. I'm the worst, honestly. So I have another dude here. Natalie, you know this dude. But we're going to call him, I think this is the first time he's coming into the podcast, Xander.
Oh, yeah.
And I got two dates about Xander, but Xander and I dated for almost 4 years, I think.
Did you live together?
We did live together, yes. In 2 different places we lived together. I think he's gonna, you and I have talked about this, but I think he's gonna be featured again in a future episode.
Oh, he needs to be a whole ass episode. There's just, like, a lot happening here.
There is a lot happening. But let's talk about our first date with Xander. We went, again, I love movies as the first date. One, because I love movies and it's like low energy, you know? It kind of eases you into the date. But the whole movie, he's basically looking at me, checking me out, which, like, I think is kind of cute. I mean, I think he was just, like, nervous, and he was just, like, kept looking, and I'm like, I obviously know you're staring at me. Anyway, I was vibing with him, and after the movie, you know, we're, like, awkwardly walking to our cars, like, thing, and we didn't have any plans after, and I thought for sure he was going to, like, make plans, or, like, even go in for a kiss. He didn't, so we just both awkwardly left. And I think at the time I was on some kind of college break because I was staying with my mom at the time. And so I go to drive back, I'm driving back home to my mom's, and I'm like less than 10 minutes away from home. And it was about a 30 minute drive for me. And right then he calls me and he's like, wait, come back. Let's go do something. I'm like, what? I'm already basically home at this point. Like, I'm home. Passed. It is gone. The moment is gone. This is awkward AF. The date ended and you could have made a decision and we made the decision to part ways. Like, you should have thought about that when I was there. So that was weird. It was a little strange. So we decided instead of me going back that we'd have, like, another date, basically. Soon after that, me and him played a lot of video games together online before we even met. We played League of Legends for the nerds, and I still play League of Legends, but whatever.
For the nerds.
So, For the nerds, where my gamers at? But so we thought it'd be cute if we had like a mini LAN party, right? Where he invited me over to his place, and we had 2 computers set up, and we played games together. I decided before going over to his house that I did not want to have sex. Like, I was like, don't do it. I don't want to do it right now. I don't know what my reasoning was. Probably just because it was the second date and I just wanted to, I liked him, so I wanted to wait a little while. So we're playing games across from one another, being all shy and cute and whatever. At one point, we made a bet that if he did better than me in the next game, that he would get a prize. And the prize would be, I suggested a kiss. I was like, you want to kiss? We hadn't kissed yet. So I was like, let's go. And he was like, okay, cute. It was cute, corny, whatever. And honestly, like, he was so much better than me at League of Legends. Like, I knew he was guaranteed to win. Like, that was the whole point. I literally just wanted a kiss. So we play the game. He smokes me. Like, he wrecks me. Absolutely. I get destroyed in the game. And he comes to claim his prize, right? A kiss. And he was very shy and awkward. He didn't like the eye contact leading up to a kiss. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I gotta see you to get to your face to do the kissing. Like, what, you want me to close my eyes the whole damn time? Like, I can only do so much. So we end up kissing and it's good, whatever. After the kiss, we move to the couch. And I know this is bad date, so it's coming. The bad part is coming. If it's already awkward, but whatever. So we move to the couch, starts getting hot and heavy, we're kissing, we're doing some dry humping, there's some touchy-feely stuff happening. But again, I've made up my mind before this date, like, I don't want to have sex. But I'm also an idiot who can be easily swayed, and I'm still an Aries that sucks. So, looking back, this doesn't sound great, but, like, he was kind of pushing my boundary with that, like, a little bit. Like, because I would lead, like, no, I don't want to go too... He'd start to go a little too far. I'd be like, no, I don't want to do this. But he was like, eventually he's like, all right, come on. Let's play the game, Just the Tip. Do I have to explain what the game Just the Tip is? It's where you just put the tip of your penis in my vagine.
Why?
That's the game of Just the Tip. I don't know. I'm fucking idiot.
I'm sorry, is this like a thing that I've just never been, like, had someone say to me? Is it, I understand the term Just the Tip, but, like, do men think that that's, like, a move?
I'm gonna Google it. I've never actually Googled it. Just the Tip. Oh my god, Just the Tip is a line that men say to partners who are not yet ready to have sex with them. It is their idea of a compromise where males are allowed to insert the tip of their penis into a vagina. Wow, that's kind of fucked up now that I look back at it.
Dina?
Oh my god, that's kind of fucked. This is like young me. Like, I'm,
you're gonna have to have a whole therapy session about this.
Oh my god, yeah, I am. So, I played Just the Tip, guys, and of course we had full-blown sex. Like, you don't. That's the whole point of it.
I don't like it. It sounds like coercion.
I don't like it either now that I think about it. I'm like, I feel like I just got coerced into having sex.
That is exactly how I feel like it happened.
I did go along. The thing is that I did go along with it, and I did, like, enjoy it and stuff. So, but yeah, not a good look.
No, that's not a great look.
Damn. It took me going through the whole story to realize how bad it was.
It's like live therapy right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dina, that's not great. Number one, like, let's digress it. The first thing that let me know that this was probably where this story was headed was you said he kept pushing my no.
Yeah.
So, like, no is a full-blown ass sentence, and I fully believe, like, after I say it once and then I have to reiterate it, your hands get to leave my body, if not my home. Yeah. Then we Google with this, like, Just the Tip. Could you imagine if a man had ever said to me, I'm just going to put the tip in? Number one, how is that beneficial to anyone? You're just going to come quickly because you've probably been touched for the first time in 100 years. How is Just the Tip worth it for me?
Right.
No, how is that a compromise? Ooh, compromise.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the blowjob was a compromise. I thought that's how we, like, made it better when a man whines at us that we won't let him fuck us. Then Dina, you end up going all the way anyway.
Yeah.
He's a bad person.
Yeah, that's...
That was manipulation.
Like, okay, I do want to say I was, like, even though I was saying no, I was acting real, sexual, and I wasn't, you know, I don't know. But,
that's
yes, I agree. Okay, yeah. Okay,
he
it's not great. I know.
You.
Which, you know what, par for the course for the relationship, because I feel like that was not a great relationship, so...
It wasn't! Spoiler alert!
For either of us, I feel like it was not a good relationship. There were a lot of issues. But, yeah, I would say that date was, looking back, not super great, even though it had nice moments. Like, I don't think that was
the next morning, after you had to, like, recollect with yourself that your goal wasn't to have sex on the second date, and then it kind of happened anyways. Like, how did you feel?
I don't super remember, but I feel like, it was probably like, oh, I, like, ruined it, you know what I mean? Like, because I wanted to wait, and I didn't want it to be about that. That was the thing. Even though I am a very sexual person and stuff like that, but, like, when I'm interested in someone, like, I generally like to wait, you know, and get to know them and stuff.
I just feel like there's two really bad narratives that get put on women throughout this story. And the first one is, like, you have to hold off sex for a guy to, like, emotionally or mentally, like, commit or invest in you. Like, that's really toxic. Like, you should...
I think that is toxic, yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to have sex on a second date if you two are horny and be able to trust that doesn't, like, demean your value to the man that you just had sex with.
But also, if you don't want to.
But also, if you don't want to. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a choice.
There's no reason to do, yeah.
And so you had made a decision not to, and then the, like, weird coercion, like, manipulation happened, which, as we know, I'm not into. And then, like, to still feel like at the end of the day that was, like, you ruining it because you weren't strong enough to say no.
I've come a long way since then.
Yeah. Like, that's some fuckery, too, where it's like, well, I ruined it. Like, I was supposed to say no, and because we're always supposed to be the ones who are, like, batting men away and flicking away their dicks.
Right. Not a good look.
How do you feel about that story today?
Well, seeing as I just told it for the first time in, like, forever, out loud, and, like, hadn't really thought about it in a really long time, you know? Because this was... how many years ago was this at this point? So, I think it's been now... I'm doing math, hold on. At least been 10 years or something.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Like, it's... Again, I was quite young. I don't like that there was pushing even, you know... Even though I was, you know, may have been enjoying it, I had made a decision and I had been trying to push back and say, no, I don't want to do this right now. I don't like that he was pushing me. And I don't think anybody should play just the tip because I think it's manipulation. Also, it really is.
I didn't know it was a game. If you have fallen victim to this game, like, I am so sorry. That has never happened to me.
I don't think it's okay. And I didn't realize actually until I Googled it just now that it's like a whole damn thing. Like, Natalie, it's on Urban Dictionary. Let me read this. Oh my god, it's got like a whole paragraph. Listen to this.
I'm mortified.
In the dynamics of heterosexual relations, human males are often confronted by human females reluctant to engage in coitus. In such situations, a human male may initiate a game called Just the Tip, which represents a suggested compromise in the age-old battle of the sexes. In a typical game of Just the Tip, it will be verbally agreed that the male may penetrate his partner's vagina, but with the stipulation that this isn't a full sentence, but his penis may only insert so he may only insert the tip of his penis.
It just feels
the
like...
female payoff is that she may avoid both physical pain and or social ostracism, while the male enjoys limited coitus. Oh my god, this is awful! I cannot read any more of that. That's terrible.
It just feels like a lawyer would be able to, like, use that in a court of law to, like, get the kid from 13 Reasons Why off for his rape charge. Like, well, they were playing just the tip, and then he lost control. Because that's the whole point of the game.
Honestly curious to see if he's ever thought back on that. I bet he doesn't see anything wrong with the
knowing this guy, he was like, we were playing a game, and then it just got too far. Because, like, every communication you've had with this man leads up to him never owning up that he was also part of what went wrong in your relationship. But I'm mortified. Like, so many men in Hollywood get canceled for, like, just, like, not respecting the no, let alone being like, can I put the tip in?
Should we cancel Xander? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hashtag cancel Xander.
Cancel Xander. Damn.
Like...
Wow, that was I wasn't even planning on adding him to this one, but I'm glad I did, because thinking back on it, I haven't thought back on that moment since now, and it's just so eye-opening. I would not be okay with that now.
No.
At all. I shouldn't have been okay with it back then, but I think I was just young and not as strong in my my morals and what I think and who I am, really. So. Yeah,
because so much of, so much of when I think about, like, weird shit like that, when it happened to me when I was younger, I think of, like, well, like, I was there, and I could have been pushier, or, like, I could have, like, it's just, like, no, why isn't any, like, I've been having a really hard time lately, like, feeling supported, like, in a post-COVID world. And it's like, and I feel like that's how, like, that's my biggest resentment when it comes to men that I've been in relationships with. Like, well, why was it my responsibility to make you do right by me?
You're right.
And I think, like, this, like, story is a perfect example of, like, it is not always my responsibility to make sure that you are treating me decently.
I think it should be both parties for each other. It should be both our responsibility to make sure that the other is, like, feels okay, secure, and respected, and all that.
It is my responsibility to make sure that I am treating you respectfully, and then it is my responsibility to, like, reflect on the way that you treat me and, like, maybe offer up some tips. But in, like, the heat of a makeout moment where you're like, man, I'm just going to poke you with the tip of my dick. And you're just like, I still don't feel like I'm into this. And he's like, okay, well, poke. No. Like,
yeah, kind of gross.
Kind of gross.
Ugh. I hate that happened to me now that I think about it.
I hate that you lived with him.
Yeah, and the stuff that, the relationship that followed all this crap. Wasn't much better, I'll tell you that. So,
what was the second story about this guy?
No, that was the second story, because the first story was the movie, and then this land video game thing was the second.
Oh, sorry. I thought you went to the movie and then went to the...
No. It was two separate things, yeah.
Well, wow. I hate when we, like, look back on dates and it's like, did a crime happen to me that
time? Did a crime happen?
Do I need a lawyer?
Should I tell my therapist about this? Hold
Dina,
on.
I think you should have a full-ass appointment and be like, so, Natalie and I were recording it on Sunday, and I told this story, and she insinuated that this story is a crime, so I just need to, like, walk through the chain of events and see if I'm getting a Netflix documentary. Like,
oh, God. That is not great. Yikes, manifestations?
Yeah, okay. Let me look at my chart. So once again, I'd like to reiterate that I am so proud of myself that I am finally in this mindset where it's like, no one deserves my time who is not making good use of my time. And, like, if you cannot impress me on a date within a 30-minute window, you will not be getting a second date, and I am leaving. And I'm also really happy that I now feel like I have the power to say no in a way to like second dates. So often, like, we talk a lot in my counseling and sessions about like my go-to is to settle. Like, my whole life wraps into that line, like, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. And like that has very much perpetuated itself through my dating. So like I could have made the choice to be like, well, maybe he was just high, and the next time he takes me out, he'll be sober. Or like maybe he was nervous and blah, blah, blah. And just like completely ignore my feelings to try and rationalize why someone isn't acting appropriately towards me. And like, again, this usually only happens when I'm fed up or angry, but even to make it that much closer to just my normal behavior being like, no, you got a chance to treat me right, and you showed me that you can't date me to the caliber that I want to be dated, so you, like, you don't get a second chance. That's something that I'm glad happened during this story. In the future, I would like to be more present and have clarity about the people that I'm dating. When I got back from this date the first time, like, I got wrapped up in the spectacle of the comedy, and like comedy is very much like one of my coping mechanisms. I had a really hard week having to like face that this week when like my bit ended up hurting someone, and then I'm like, well, fuck. And then they were like, well, I just never knew that you were upset. And I was like, well, because here's the thing, I would rather not feel upset. So I turn it into an entire Netflix special. And then when I'm like laying alone in my bed in the middle of the night, I remember that all of my feelings have been hurt 1,000 times over. So like, I think if I could do a better job, and if I could finally like actually like create this loop, this reciprocal loop during my jobs where I'm very aware of how I feel, but I'm also very aware of like what's going on across the table, I would be having better dates. Because I'm so wrapped up in my nerves and like, or my time that's being wasted, or like the fact that I'm on another bad date, or the fact that like so many people aren't single, but I'm still single, and this is the caliber of dates that I have to be on. I feel like if I could let that go, I could be having more like honest conversations with people, because like you said, at any point during that day, I could have looked at him and been like, I'm sorry, are you like comfortable speaking to me?
Right.
And just be like a more empathetic person all around on these first dates.
I feel like that's a good manifestation.
Thank you. Always trying to grow. I could honestly do with a little extra empathy coming from me every once in a while.
For me, I want to be comfortable in myself and strong enough to put myself first and my priorities, my boundaries, to not allow someone to push those, and to not let their feelings necessarily, or worry about hurting their feelings or whatever, stop me from staying true to myself and the things that I have set for myself. And for the men, I feel like the common theme of at least the men that I spoke about is that a little bit of selfishness and not respecting other people's feelings and obviously boundaries in this regards. So it's not all about you. It's not all about your penis. And please take the time to think about the other person in these situations instead of yourself.
I think that's why I get so defensive on these bad dates, because it's like, well, not only are men selfish, but they're selfish enough to like be boring. And that's why
Yeah.
I can't ever, like, and maybe I'm just ruined for dating men because, like, I'm always like, my God, not only can you be good people, but, like, you're selfish too. And it's like, I have a hard time, like, empathizing with men because to me, there's already a power imbalance there. I feel like it's unfair that we have to keep, like, screaming at men to treat us decently or show up to be better on dates or to not just put in the bare minimum. But it does, like, create this wall between me and, like, offering sympathy and empathy to men.
Yeah, I feel like I used to be attracted to men who I would say were a bit egotistical, but now I'm realizing that it might be entitlement.
Yeah.
And them expecting something.
Yeah.
Which isn't a good look.
Yeah. I'm over this narrative of, like, you know, like in Aladdin, I am not a prize to be won. Like, you don't get to just be entitled to me or my time or my body. Well, let's do some plugs. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review and a comment about what you're enjoying, and we can start highlighting great reviews. Let me pull up a review. My phone fell asleep, so I don't have these ready yet.
That's all right. The power of editing.
The power of editing. So this review comes from Delaney Fisher. I don't know if people are aware of Delaney Fisher, but she is the one of the hosts of Self-Helpless, and she gave us a listen. And she said, hilarious, honest, relatable, brilliant. Do yourself a favor and tune in. I would like to hit onto that note, relatable. If you've related with any of our content, and you also, like, have a story that you would like to say about, like, oh my God, I've had the worst date or anything, we definitely want to hear about it, whether it's a public comment on our episodes Instagram or in our DMs or through our Gmail. So let me plug those. Our Instagram is at Men I've Tolerated Pod. My Instagram is NatalieK124. And don't forget that if you're tagging us in your story while you're listening, we will leave you a manifestation on our story. And I'm totally cool with you putting in that post what you want your manifestation to be about. So our good energy is serving purpose in your life. And then you can also check out my art at nataliesinspiration.com. And the email that I mentioned is menI'veTolerated@gmail.com. All of that is linked on our Instagram. So make sure you're following us there.
And you can follow me on Instagram as well. My handle is at @ms_caboose. And I'll have links to all my social media, including my Twitch, so check it out.
Woo woo! All right, everybody. Remember, don't be smiling through anything that you're tolerating. Smiles are for joy. They're not for bad dates or men who push our boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
Bye.